Boyd Broncos, an impressive win over Garland in a hard-fought battle throughout the whole way, and they get their first win of the year. I'm joined by Don Drake. And Coach, always nice to get that first win of the year, especially against a team in Garland that, they're no slouch. They're a nice competitive team.
Yeah, Garland's always very fast, very athletic, very physical. It's hard to beat Garland at home, on their home field. They got a great home field advantage there. They're always going to have a great crowd, and their kids always play well at home. So it was great to go out there and get that victory.
What was the bus ride home, coming from Garland back home? How was the spirits in the bus?
Oh, it was great. The kids have battled hard for 3 weeks now, and unfortunately we came up on the short end of the stick weeks 0 and 1. And so for us to be able to go to Garland and get a win in a game that it was a hard-fought game for 4 quarters, and our kids kept battling and kept competing, they were very, very excited about pulling out the victory.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights from the game. We're going to see a lot of highlights, especially from your running back, Brian Driscoll, and not just, from the I formation or the spread, but he's going to return this kickoff back for a touchdown.
It was the opening kickoff, and we got a great block there by our kickoff return team. Calvin Howard leading through, made a critical block for us there, and Brian was able to take the ball up the hash and take it 96 yards for the opening score.
Now, special teams, as we're going to see on this next play, the ensuing kickoff, the Garland Owls are going to fumble. Your special teams really played a key role in this game.
They did. I thought we played pretty well overall. We gave up one kickoff return to them that, we've got to get that corrected because of the field position piece. But that was pretty crucial there, and we caused the fumble, recovered it, which led to the field goal there by Jared Semank of 42 yards that you see to give us a 10-0 lead.
So that gives you a nice lead. And your defense all night long were really putting a lot of pressure. And, again, special teams right here with the blocked field goal, you're able to really penetrate their line very well.
I thought our kids did a really good job defensively, played hard all night, got some critical stops that we needed when they had the ball deep in our territory and just kept competing, and I was really proud of their effort.
So after both teams, you guys miss a field goal, they miss a couple of field goals. You have a 10-0 lead that you're trying to protect at the time, and Garland starts to get things going in the second quarter. They get a touchdown back. What is your team thinking after, you get the opening points and then the offense sort of stalled a little bit?
Well, offensively, I didn't think we played great in the first half. I thought we had some opportunities to put some points on the board that we didn't come away with. Defensively, I thought we played pretty well, during the first half of the game. But it's a 10-7 ball game. You tell the kids at halftime, we got to clean up our mistakes offensively. Defense, keep doing what you're doing, and we've got an opportunity to go win this football game in the fourth quarter.
And Garland has a very quality quarterback in Gates. He can do it on the ground and through the air, so he's a difficult guy for you guys to be matched up against. And your defense, I felt really throughout the whole game, did a good job to just keep him in check.
There's no doubt. He's a very talented kid. He's a great athlete. Threw the ball very well the other night, and he was able to make some plays with his feet as well by scrambling, so it makes it difficult on you defensively to contain that. But I thought our kids did a good job of applying pressure to him, made some critical stops for us there in the fourth quarter to get us the ball back and give us an opportunity to go win the football game. And
one critical thing that you guys were able to do well is force a lot of turnovers from the Owls, and in the third quarter they take a 14-10 lead. It starts to get into a back-and-forth affair, and after a Gates run, he fumbles and you recover in Garland's territory, and you're able to capitalize on that.
We had several lead changes in the second half, and I was really proud of our kids and the fact that Garland went and took the lead, and when we came back and took the lead back, and we did that a couple of different times, and we had plenty of opportunities in the second half to get our head down and not play with the same passion and the same intensity, but our kids didn't do that. They kept fighting, kept believing they could win the game, and I think that was the difference.
Yeah, it certainly showed, and your quarterback sneaks in for a 1-yard touchdown run, Curtis Ladd, to give you guys the lead back. Then the fourth quarter, Garland's going to get a touchdown and go up 21-17. And the first play of your next drive, Brian Driscoll's going to run it 51 yards, a very big play to give you guys the field position right back.
No doubt. That was huge. We needed to be able to answer their score with a score of our own, and did a great job up front in opening those running lanes for Brian. And, of course, we all know about Brian. He's a special athlete, and did a great job of breaking the ball down the sideline and giving us some great field position. And we were able to follow that with the Curtis Ladd to Patrick Ladd touchdown
Yeah, the brothers, we talked about them last week, that, it's a special thing to have, a brother thrown to a brother on the team. And you talk about Brian and how good he is. And, he was a guy that's carrying the bulk of the load in this game. And Garland knew that he was going to have most of the carries, but he was still able to find some room.
Yeah, he was. And I think that's a credit to our kids that play up front in the offensive line and our tight end, making sure they stay after it all night, continuing to come off the football with some intensity and create some running lanes for Brian to be able to run into. It's a great job there by Curtis, stepping up in the pocket and delivering to his older brother Patrick for the touchdown to give us the 24-21 lead there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the line did a nice job to give him the pocket to step up there. And then Garland, they're trying to come back and answer, but they're not able to do so. You're able to stop them. They convert 1 4th and 7 at your 45-yard line, but then they have another 4th and 7 you force them into later, and you're able to get that key 4th down stop.
Yeah, that was very, very critical because they were moving the football, and we got them into 4th down. They converted. We got them into 4th down again. We got the stop we needed to get the ball back. And at that point, it was up to our offense to try and maintain possession of the football and continue to get first down so that we could eat the clock and put the game away.
And here's the big decision, 4th and 1 with about a minute left, and you're a hero if you convert it, and then some people may question you if it doesn't go right. Either way, you get it to work in your favor. Brian Driscoll with the 51-yard touchdown run. Talk about what went through your head making that decision.
Well, having the ball at the 50 with, we had run the clock down to about a minute 30 to go in the game. I think Garland had 1 or 2 timeouts left, so I knew that they could stop the clock, but with a minute 30 left, if we were able to convert, then we were going to be able to ice the rest of the ball game. And so it was real important for us to be able to make that play. In terms of punting the football, if we get off a great punt, we're probably going to pin them deep, but obviously 3 points ties the game and it's probably going to send the thing into overtime. So I felt a lot of confidence in our kids. Our kids were excited. They wanted to go for the win right there, and so we put the ball in the hands of Brian and expected our guys up front to do a great job, in which they did. And fortunately for us, you don't call the play expecting it to turn into a 51-yard touchdown run, but it sure was nice to watch that happen.
Yeah, it sure was. And you have to have a lot of confidence when you have, running back in Driscoll that goes for over 200 yards in a line that just effectively throughout the whole game was able to keep Garland from getting in the backfield.
Yeah, I thought we did a great job in pass protection. And like I said, Garland's very physical and they're very fast. So it's kind of one of those things you just got to keep pounding the ball, and putting the ball in the hands of Brian, and eventually it's going to break and you're going to create some plays, which we were able to do enough of the other night to win the football game.
So you win 31-21. That ends up being the final score. You put up enough points to beat Garland, but at the same token, your defense really did a great job to limit Garland, a team that can put up a lot of points. They have that ability, and you held them to 3 scores.
No doubt. I had the opportunity to watch Garland and Plano East play the very first game of the season, and I think Garland offensively had over 400 yards that night. And so, while we gave up a significant amount of yards, more yards than what we would like to on the defensive side of the ball, the key is how many points are you allowing? The key is, are you getting those critical stops that you need, and our kids were able to do that Friday and give us the victory.
Now, next week you're going to play Rockwall, and they're a talented team as well that, they are a 1-2 record. They're a lot similar to you guys. Just as Garland was similar, they came in with the same record in this particular game. What have you noticed about your team? They're starting to trend now in the right direction after, a tough game against a state-ranked Coppell team last week. What have you noticed about them going forward to play Rockwall?
Well, I think the biggest difference in this past Friday night and 2 Friday nights ago is, we were in the same situation. We were down by 1 score in the third quarter, and this Friday night our kids fought back and kept competing and kept battling. 2 Friday nights ago against Coppell, I think we let our heads drop a little bit. We lost our momentum, lost our intensity, and then we obviously know how that game turned out for us. So, hopefully we'll grow from this experience. Hopefully our kids will understand that, hey, being down a score in the third is not time to give up hope. It's time to continue to work and continue to play hard and do the things necessary to go win the game. And if you do that, then you're going to give yourself a chance to be successful. So hopefully we'll carry that forward into this week against Rockwall. Again, a good football team. Beat Rowlett 2 weeks ago, 41-37 in a pretty high-scoring, close game. So they've got a good football team. They're going to be very, very competitive, and we're going to have to be prepared and ready to go play.
Obviously, in every game, you prepare to win the ball game. That's the ultimate objective. But at the same time, you're really preparing for that district play when you're going to have only 5 games in your small district to really make the playoff push. You're going to have to win, in a short amount of time. These next 2 weeks, the next two teams that you play, what does your team have to keep working on to get better? What are some weaknesses you need to improve on to get ready for district play?
Well, I think consistency is the key, and that's what you see as the season goes on, is you hope that you start to make fewer mistakes, in every phase of the game, and that your kids are playing better and better each week. It's not about where you start, it's where you finish, and it's the process of going from where you are to where you hope to end up at the end. And, I think we made some improvements this past week. We got to continue to do that in order to put ourselves in position to make a playoff push. We know that every game we play is going to be a battle. I mean, it just is. It's that competitive in the league that we play in. And so, it's what I told the kids this morning in our team meeting. A 24-21 ball game in the fourth quarter is something that's probably going to be very, very common for us. Not necessarily the score, but the closeness of the ball game. You're going to have to play through 4 quarters. You're going to have to battle some adversity if you expect to be where you want to be at the end of the year.
Yeah, they certainly seemed to respond to it last Friday night. One more thing I wanted to ask you before we let you go is, going into this Rockwall game, coming off the good win, your team has a lot of good things going for them, but, special teams was one thing that was effective in this game against Garland. And a lot of times the players that play on special teams aren't necessarily the stars of the team. They're the guys that get in there to, do some of the dirty work that needs to be done. What do you have to say about those players and that amazing effort they gave?
Well, that's what I told the kids again today. I mean, that was a team win. We scored points in special teams, We scored points offensively, obviously. We made some plays defensively. So we had a lot of guys that contributed to that victory the other night, and we've got to continue to get that kind of play out of all the kids that we put on the field.
Well, it was a great win for you guys. The Boyd Broncos now move to 1-2 on the season, and they'll look to even the record at 2-2 when they play Rockwall at home on Friday night.